and welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we'll bring to you tonight's major and top highlights. Let's follow. Head of State addresses his wishes on the occasion of the sacred month of Ramadan. The winners of the poetry contest awarded a celebration of the World Poetry Day. And on the international scene, Global Forum for Intersectoral Cooperation between Turkey and Africa. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. On the occasion of the holy month of Ramadan, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, sent his best wishes to the people of Djibouti and the entire Islamic nation, stressing that this month is the month of mercy, forgiveness, and deliverance from the fire or hell, as well as Ramadan is the month of a connection with Allah for par excellence through the Quran. Let's listen to His Excellency.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف خلق الله أجمعين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد بن عبد الله عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن سلك سبيله واهتدى بهداه إلى يوم الدين أما بعد.
The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, addressed his best wishes to the Djiboutian people and the entire Islamic nation, stressing that this month is the month of mercy, forgiveness, and liberation from the fire or hell, as well as Ramadan is the month of connections to Allah for excellence through the Quran. The head of state also expressed his wishes from Allah Almighty to repeat these solemn occasions on our beloved homeland and our entire Islamic nations with good and blessings. He stressed that fasting is a refinement and promotion of man and a purification of the soul, and it is an occasion urging everyone to invest this holy month to do more good deed and spread the spirit of brotherhood and love and the values of tolerance, solidarity, and compassion. In this context, we urge traders to take into account the intimacy of the holy month and avoid excessive prices, confirming the President of the Republic. President Guelleh stressed that he had directed the relevant authority to assume their responsibilities in meeting the basic needs of citizens during the blessed month and to take decisive actions against anyone who would attempt to raise prices. On Friday, February 24, 2023, our precious country was to write a new chapter in its rich democratic careers by witnessing an electoral wedding, which once again demonstrated the great awareness of the Djiboutian people, their eagerness and determination to exercise their electoral rights guaranteed by the Constitution. On Friday, February 24, 2023, our dear country has written a new chapter in its rich democratic careers through an electoral marriage, which has once again shown the high consciousness of Djiboutian people, its eagerness and determination to exercise its electoral rights guaranteed by the Constitution, stressed the number ones Djiboutians. In this context, the President of the Republic congratulated our people for the success of the legislative elections, which were brilliant milestones in the turbulent political history of our country, adding, in light of our monitoring of the electoral process, I can only express our pride in the level of professionalism and transparency with which this noble national mission has been conducted. We are approaching a new stage in the overall process of reforms and development, and with God's help, the blessings, we will take confident and accelerated steps forward to open wide horizon of success for all our dear fathers and provide them with the decent life they deserve.
ختاما نتضرع على المولى عز وجل أن يقوي إيماننا ويسدد على طريق الخير والرشد خطانا وأن يعيننا على الصيام والقيام وأحياء ليالي الشهر الفضيل بالطاعات. شهر مبارك وكل عام وأنتم بخير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
The Ministry of Trade, Mr. Mohammed Rassamadiri, in charge of tourism, held a consultation meeting with traders this morning at the Chamber of Commerce. The purpose of this meeting was to discuss the prices of basic foodstuff during the blessed month of Ramadan. This meeting was attended by the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Yusuf Musa Dawale, and the main traders of the place who are wholesalers and retailers of basic foodstuffs. The Minister of Trade, Mr. Mohammed Rassamadiri, expressed his satisfaction with this consultation and urged the traders to maintain the same price marked on the mercury so that people can enjoy the blessed month of Ramadan. In a statement by the Minister of Trade, Mr. Mohammed Warsamadiri, he said, and I quote, "We will start the blessed month of Ramadan as usual. The Ministry of Commerce calls on the people who are responsible for monitoring the regulation of even the price of food before Ramadan. We used to control the prices of food and storage. We are always available at the Chamber of Commerce. The Ministry of Commerce has set up a mercury of basic commodities such as milk, flour, sugar, rice, pasta, and oil. Our government is always on the side of the people, and I have been abolished, and examination for basic necessities has been abolished. As far as the prices are concerned, the Ministry of Commerce and the local merchants, whether wholesalers or retailers, must respect the prices set by the Ministry of Commerce, and we have appointed price control agents who will work day and night to assure this." Tonight, we are on the eve of the blessed month of Ramadan. As in all Muslim countries, the faithful will fast for a month, the month of mercy and forgiveness, a month in which the Jiburian people and the entire Islamic nation will be united with Allah through the Quran. During this month, a fervor and religious practice will be visible through increased attendance at mosques with Taraweeh sessions after Isha prayers started already, even night prayers for benefit from the grace of Allah. Djiboutians will change their habits with working hours already set between 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Hotels, restaurants, liquor stores, and some shops will be closed until the iftar time, except for some authorized places. The closure will be controlled by the public security forces. Eating habits will also change. All day long, the Djiboutian population will fast, and meals will only start at iftar and so until suhoor before the morning prayer. It is a month of piety, sharing, tolerance, and solidarity. Families gather to share the iftar meal and break their fast together in a spirit of conviviality and generosity. Ramadan is also a time for reflection, meditation, and introspection. Believers are encouraged to abstain from all evil, purify their minds and bodies, and draw closer to God. It is an auspicious time for reading and reciting the Quran, for prayer, charity, and forgiveness. The blessed month of Ramadan is an important time for the Muslim community in Djibouti and around the whole world. It is an opportunity to draw closer to God, to purify oneself, and to strengthen family and social ties. The President of the National Assembly, Mr. Delita Mohammed Delita, today received several members of the diplomatic corps. In turn, President Delita met the Ambassador of Kenya to the Republic of Djibouti, Mr. Salim, the Head of Affairs of the Kingdom of Morocco to the Republic of Djibouti, Mr. Mbarek Hadoui, and finally the Ambassador of the Republic of France to the Republic of Djibouti. Before the talks, the diplomats congratulated Mr. Delita Mohammed on his election as Speaker of the Djiboutian Parliament. The various exchanges focus on bilateral relations between the Republic of Djibouti and its friendly countries. In the same vein, President Delita Mohammed Delita and his hosts took stock of parliamentary cooperation, the leading role of parliamentary diplomacy, and in particular, ways and means to further strengthen and prioritize joint action between national parliamentarians through parliamentary friendship groups. This visit, which is also a contact visit, is part of the diplomats' approach to speak with the new President of the National Assembly. The talks also focus on examining existing cooperation relations between the two countries and ways of strengthening them. The audience took place in the presence of the Secretary General, Ambassador Ismail Gurel Boudouin, and the Director of the President's Cabinet, Mr. Idris Mohammed Ahmed. President Delita praised the age-old social and political ties between all those countries. Also at the National Assembly, chaired by the Honorable Sharmake Musaare, the Committee on Finance, General Economy and Planning and non-member deputies today examined the 2021 financial statements of the Djibouti National Tourist Office, which is also known in short as ONTD, and the 2020 financial statements of the National Office for Water Supply and Sanitation, which is also known in short as ONIAD. The government was represented by Mr. Mohammed Warsamadiriye, Minister of Trade and Tourism, and Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock, and Fishery Resources. The Directors General of the above-mentioned public institutions accompanied by their close collaborators. After discussing the accounting and financial situation, the deputies of the General Economy and Planning Committee gave a favorable opinion and submitted the above financial statements for approval during the public session of the National Assembly. Yesterday, the National Library and Archives hosted the prize-giving ceremony of the poetry competition organized under the patronage of the Ministry of Youth and Culture within the framework of the International Day of the Francophone, but also of the World Poetry Day. World Poetry Day was created by UNESCO in 1999 and celebrated for the first time ever in 2000 with the aim of promoting the linguistic and cultural diversity of our societies. Practiced throughout history in all cultures and in all continents, poetry remains an important and powerful catalyst for dialogue and peace. The very first edition of this competition organized by the ministry saw the participation of more than 150 people of all ages from the capital and the interior regions. The winners were Sadiq Burhan from the CDC of Oboch, Merito Dabali from the CDC of Tajurad, and Dato Mohammed from the CDC of Oboch received the CTP prizes from the hand of the Minister of Youth and Culture herself, the Director General of the AMPC. On the other hand, the first 10 texts will be published by the AMPC in the form of a collection. A virtual meeting between the customs authorities of Djibouti and Ethiopia was held yesterday at the Sheraton Hotel. The meeting was co-chaired by the Acting Director General, Mr. Abubakar Burhan Hamadou, and the Ethiopian Customs Commissioner, Mr. Debele Kabeta, and attended by the Virtual Director at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Burhanu Tesegie, and the Ethiopian Ambassador to Djibouti. In recent years, bilateral and national measures have been taken to improve customs transit between Djibouti and Ethiopia, and significant improvements have been observed thanks to the measures taken by both countries. The Djibouti-Ethiopia Transit Corridor is like the umbilical cord that connects and nourishes the economies of both countries. In his speech, the Ethiopian Customs Commissioner Mr. Debele Kabeta expressed his deep gratitude to the Djibouti Customs and Administration for its commitment in hosting the bilateral meeting, for its warm welcome also to the Ethiopian Customs delegations. He emphasized that the rapidly changing international trade environment, the emergence of new procedures and technologies, and the ever-increasing pressure to reduce costs and delays in the cross-border flows of goods could be seen as one of the factors leading to the consideration of bilateral cooperation.
On the key issues that have a crucial importance in enhancing and cements our country's long-lasting cooperation and the mutual benefits. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Djibouti Customs and the Indirect Tax Administration to its commitment to host this bilateral meeting, and it is heartfelt welcome to the Ethiopian Customs delegation.
The Director General of MPH, Mr. Douali Said Mahmoud, and the UNDP representative in Djibouti, Mrs. Emma Ngoa, signed this morning the annual work plan for the partnership in the field promotion and improvement of the living conditions. The ceremony took place at the headquarters of the National Agency for Disabled of the Ministry for Women and the Family, Mrs. Muna Usman Aden, and the representative of the local UNDP office, Mrs. Emma Nguano, initiated the documents relating to the annual work plan for the corporation. The representative of the local UNDP office took the opportunity to congratulate the National Agency for People with Disabilities for its constant efforts to improve the living conditions of people with disabilities, and then a family photo at the end of the convention signing ceremony took place. The ceremony presided over this morning by the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, marked the end of a basic military training course at the Hol Military School for 190 trainees from the Djiboutian Army. On his arrival, the Army Chief of Staff was welcomed by the Commandant of the Military School, Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Jami' Kayad, and the school's Guard of Honor. The Chief of the General Staff then inspected the arming device prepared for the occasion. Brigadier General Tahir Ali Mohammed Chief of the Defense Staff, and Colonel Major Muhammad Kayat Gale, Deputy Chief of the Defense Staff, as well as representatives of the civil, customary, and religious authorities of the Hol locality, attended the event to honor and congratulate the winners of this training course.
De l'école militaire, stagiaires CME, ainsi qu'un détachement de la future compagnie parachutiste, 320 sur les rangs, lieutenant-colonel Mohamed Jama Riyad, chef de corps de l'école militaire président Goulet, à vos ordres, général!
The ceremony thus began with the reading of a Quranic verse referring to the month of Ramadan, which begins tomorrow. It continued with a word from the commander of the military school in the announcement of the results. We are now listening to the various
هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان من شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر صدق الله العظيم.
The new pedagogical approach adopted by the military academy has borne fruit, and as shown by the results of the final exams of these 190 students. For this reason, the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces insisted on handing over to the first winners of these courses the certificate of success as well as a reward commensurate with their efforts. Finally, all the soldiers of the unit will commemorate the event with the souvenir photos that will be taken at this moment. After the presentation of the certificates, the invited personnel and the civil authorities of the region will go to the meteorist monument to lay a symbolic wreath in honor of the brave soldiers who died in the line of duty.
ولا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون فرحين بما آتاهم الله من فضله ويستبشرون بالذين لم يلحقوا بهم ألا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون صدق الله العظيم. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم واعف عنهم واجب ظلم. اللهم واسع مدخلهم وادخلهم الجنة واغسلهم بالثلج والماء والبرد. اللهم نور مقدهم وعدل مشهدهم ودائم مضجعهم. اللهم نقيهم من خطاياهم كما ينقي الثوب الابيض من الدنس. اللهم عاملهم بما انت اهله ولا تعاملهم بما هم اهله. اللهم اجزهم عن الاحسان احسانا وعن الاساءة عفوا وغفرانا. اللهم انزلهم منزلا مباركا وانت خير المنزلين. اللهم انزلهم منازل الصديقين والشهداء والصالحين آمين آمين. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. الفاتحة.
Finally, the closing ceremony of the basic military certificate course, which took place this morning at Hol Hol, ended with a refreshing drink hosted by the Military Academy Folklore Troupe and the presentation of gifts. Let's follow. The President of the National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Ali Subani Atiyah, accompanied by Mrs. Leila Hassan, a GIZ BMM manager, arrived in Obokh region yesterday morning. After a warm welcome, the members of the delegation met at the prefecture of this historic city of our country with the prefectural and regional authorities of Obokh, including the deputy prefect of the city, the sub-prefects of the localities of Khor Angar, local leaders, many personalities, including the representative of the Ambassador of the Republic, as well as representative of civil society. During the subsequent visits to the bases of the security forces in the region, the president of the CNDH met with Captain Ahmad Nur Hassan Abdullahi, commander of the company of the National Gendarmerie in Obokh, and Colonel Kamil Muhammad Ali of the National Police to discuss their working conditions in the context of their missions at the services of the citizens. The discussion that followed focused on security, situation of migrants and refugees, as well as that of the population of the region as a whole. In the framework of the Integrated Urban Development Program 2, ADDS organized a ceremony to award certificates to the trainees who benefited from the training. The ceremony took place at the project house in Layable and was attended by the Director of Social Development of ADDS, Mr. Hassan Galab, the representative of the French Development Agency, Mrs. Justin Potter, the project manager, Mrs. Emmanuelle Pallion, as well as representative of the company HAWK, which is the project manager financed by the French Development Agency, which is an important partner of the ADDS. 34 young people have benefited from this program, which includes several activities, including vocational training. These young people, composed of girls and boys, have benefited from training which lasted from 6 to 1 year. At the end of the ceremony, certificates were given to the students who benefited from the training, and the ceremony ended with a family photo session. The Director of Social Development stressed the importance of the Urban Development Program and thanked the French Development Agency for their support. The People's Palace held the 4th General Assembly on the National Association of Local Djiboutian Authorities on Monday. This meeting coincidence with the 20th of March, with the French-speaking countries celebrate the International Day of the Francophone, chaired by the President of the National Association of Local Authorities of Djibouti, Mr. Omar Hussein Omar. The meeting brought together the executive members of all the local authorities with the primary objective of validating the statute of the National Association of Local Authorities, which had been revised by lawyers from the University of Djibouti. In his speech, the president of the ANCLD recalled that all the work they maintain at the level of local authorities is likely to strengthen Djiboutian decentralization, advocated by His Excellency, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh. After performing in theaters for a long time, the young people of the Scofilan Theatre School decided to take theater to the streets. For the first time, for their first performance of a street theater group, Scofield has pulled off a coup this Tuesday afternoon. The troupe, made up mainly of children between the ages of 6 and 10, performed in the front of the town hall and then at several other important locations in the city in front of a crowd of annual theater students, street theater, comedy, improvisation. There was something for everyone. The latter were surprised and amazed to see the shows did not need spaces to entertain them. It should be noted that this initiative comes from a theater student, the founder of the School of Film School, who is none other than the former figure of the sixth art in Djibouti, Mrs. Mariam Khader. The idea of the festival was born from the desire to offer street performance to people who, for financial or geographical reasons, are the furthest away from the places of representation. She explained, before recalling the main objective, which remains the promotion of theater here in Djibouti. The UN Civil Society Forum on the Statue of Women was held virtually with a parallel discussion on female genital mutilation and other forms of gender-based violence in the Somali community. The event aimed to raise awareness and promote cooperation in the fight against FGM and other harmful practices. It was attended by the members of the European Parliament, activists, survivors, and artists. The main recommendations were to work together, give survivors a voice, use art as a tool for change, and create space to share information. Let me take you to Turkey now, where nearly 1,500 business people from 41 African countries attended the World Forum on Intersectoral Cooperation in Istanbul, an opportunity for this representative of the continent to interact with their Turkish counterparts. The aim of the global Forum of Intersectoral Cooperation is to increase trade between Turkey and Africa to $4.5 billion. The initiative also aims to raise the profile of Turkish SMEs on the continent. Its approach is innovative. Well, with that, dear viewers, we end this edition. Thank you for being with us, and be sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening, and we, the RTD team, wish you a blessed Ramadan. Take care.